Are you thinking about buying your first home in Lindsay, Ontario? If so, let's have a look at 5 simple steps that you can do now to avoid disappointment later. There's nothing worse than falling in love with something and then finding out you can't buy it. Be sure to stick around for that final step that can often be the most challenging. First, you're going to want to make sure your finances are in order. You'll need to make sure you not only have the down payment required for the purchase price of the house, but there's also additional fees like closing costs, lawyer's fees, mortgage insurance, and title insurance to think about. Sounds daunting and like a lot of information? I know. I can help, just reach out. Some lenders have different criteria than others, and there might be some more options for you to consider. You're going to hear the phrase pre-approved and pre-qualified. You want to be pre-approved. That's the one where they run your social insurance number. So it's not just an app online, they want to know everything. They'll often ask for verification of information. So not just an average of how much money you make, but the actual line in your income tax return. And they'll take usually 2 years returns and they'll do an average. My daughter bought a house this year and they also asked her for a copy of her notice of assessment showing she doesn't show any money to the government, a job letter stating where she works, how long she's been there, and if she was full-time, part-time, and how much money she makes. They wanted a copy of her last pay stub. And they also wanted to know the debt she was carrying. Visas, MasterCards, student loans, car payments, that sort of thing. They're looking for your total debt service ratio. So how much money you have left after paying all your bills. Second, make a list of the needs and wants that you want in a home. If you're buying with a partner, you should do this together. You'd be surprised at what might be important to you may not be so important to them. Do you want a garage? How many bedrooms? Would you like a home office? What style of a house is ideal? Do you want all the bedrooms to be upstairs, so a 2-story? Or are you trying to avoid stairs? Those kind of things. Next, choose your realtor. My recommendation when you're buying a house in Lindsay is you want a local realtor. A local realtor knows the good, the bad, and the ugly about what area of town is good and then what's not so good, that sort of thing. It also may not be important to you now with your first home, but eventually you might want to know more about school districts and growth areas. A local realtor will know these things. Your realtor is going to ask you about your pre-approval amount and what your needs and wants are in your house purchase. They're also going to ask you about the desired location. Do you want to be right in town or would you like to be on the outside? As a lot of houses in Lindsay are old, are you willing to do work? Are you handy? Is anybody in your family handy? And then it's house hunting. For some, it's a lot. Scheduling appointments or finding the time to go through houses with your realtor. Also, my daughter, for an example, she found the whole process emotionally draining. For that reason, we only looked at 1 or 2 houses a day. But for others, they jump in with both feet. It can be fun. You want to ask yourself, can you live here? Does your furniture fit? How is it decorated? Do you like the paint colors? Or are you going to want to paint as soon as you take possession? Will the desired closing date the seller wants, will it work for you? What kind of things come with the house? Your realtor can guide you through those. And lastly, negotiating your best offer when you find something you like. Things that can be negotiated are the closing date, so that's the date that the seller gets all the money you promised them. Terms and conditions like financing. Does the house have to have an appraisal as part of your financing? What about a home inspection? In our area, making sure you can get house insurance is also one of the conditions we talk about. Chattels and fixtures, like what's included. The fridge, the stove, the washer, the dryer, like, do you want them? And then lastly, the price. For the most part, a seller doesn't want to give their house away and a buyer doesn't want to pay full price. So often a negotiation can be made fair for both the buyer and the seller, but not every time. If you found this video helpful, stay tuned on my next video about closing costs, what they are, when they're due, and who do you pay them to. As always, please get in touch if you have any questions about buying, selling, or living in Lindsay, the beautiful Kawartha Lakes. Thanks for watching.